Mole concept explained. In this video, we will understand how to define mole concept. Also, we will learn 4 types of moles, which are gram atom, gram molecules, gram formula, and gram ions. At the end, I will also give you some easy tricks to find number of mole. First of all, let's understand how we can define mole. Keep in mind, when atomic mass, molecular mass, formula mass, or ionic mass of a substance is expressed in gram, then it is called as mole. Now, let's understand this definition in simple words. As we know, the mass of carbon is 12 AMU. Here, AMU means atomic mass unit. But AMU is a very small unit. It is difficult to work with such small units. That is why we express the masses of elements in grams instead of AMU. So, the atomic mass of carbon can be written as 12 grams. Now understand one important point here. Whenever we express the mass of any substance in grams, whether it is an atom, a molecule, or an ionic compound, then it will be called 1 mole of that substance. From this, we need to understand that whenever the mass of any element is written in grams, it will be called a mole. Now the question arises, how many particles are present in 1 mole of any substance? I will explain this with a simple example. As you know, 1 dozen bananas means 12 bananas. Similarly, 1 dozen eggs means 12 eggs. From here, one thing becomes clear that dozen is equal to 12. Now let us understand this same concept with mole. You must keep in mind that in 1 mole of any substance, the number of particles is always equal to Avogadro's number, and Avogadro's number is 6.02 into 10 power 23. This means 12 grams of carbon is equal to 1 mole of carbon, and this is equal to 6.02 into 10 power 23 number of atoms of carbon. Now let's move towards different types of mole. Keep in mind, there are 4 types of moles, which are gram atom, gram molecules, gram formula, and gram ions. Let us understand each type one by one. First, let us understand gram atom. We can define gram atom in this way. When atomic mass of an element is expressed in gram, then it will be called gram atom. Let's explain this with an example. As we know, the atomic mass of hydrogen is 1.08 atomic mass units. When we express this in grams, it will be written like this. 1.08 gram of hydrogen is equal to 1 mole of hydrogen, and 1 mole of hydrogen is equal to 6.02 into 10 power 23 atoms of hydrogen. From here, it is clear that when we express the mass of an element or atom in grams, then it will be called gram atom. Now, let's understand gram molecule. We can define it in such a way that when molecular mass of a molecule is expressed in gram, then it will be called gram molecules. Again, I will explain this with an example. As we know, 18 grams of H2O is equal to 1 mole of H2O, and this is equal to 6.02 into 10 power 23 number of molecules of water. As it is clear from here, when we express the mass of molecules in grams, then it will be called gram molecule. Now let us understand gram formula. We can define it in this way. When formula mass of an ionic compound is expressed in gram, then it will be called as gram formula. Now here you must always keep in mind one important thing. The mass of ionic compounds cannot be called molecular mass. The reason is that because ionic compounds do not exist in molecular form, that is why their mass is always called formula mass. Let me give you an example. 58.5 grams of NaCl is equal to 1 mole of NaCl, and this is equal to 6.02 into 10 power 23 formula units of NaCl. Similarly, from here it becomes clear that when we express the mass of an ionic compound in grams, then it will be called gram formula. Now, let us move to gram ion. First, we need to define it. When ionic mass of an ion is expressed in gram, it will be called gram ion. Now, let's explain it with an example. 19 grams of H3O positive will be equal to 1 mole of H3O positive, and it will be equal to 6.02 into 10 power 23 number of ions. Now here understand one important point again. When we express the mass of an atom or element in grams, it will be called gram atom. When we express the mass of a molecule in grams, it will be called gram molecule. When we express the mass of an ionic compound in grams, it will be called gram formula. And when we express the mass of an ionic substance in grams, it will be called gram ion. From this, the concept becomes clear again that when we express the mass of any substance in grams, whether it is an atom or a molecule, then it will be called 1 mole of that substance. Easy trick to calculate number of moles. Now I will tell you a very easy trick by which you can calculate the number of moles very easily. Let us understand with an example. First, we need to find how many number of moles will be present in 32 grams of oxygen atom. First, you need to write what you already know. As we know, 1 mole of oxygen is equal to 16 grams. Now what we need to find, we will let it equal to x. So we write, x mole of oxygen is equal to 32 grams. Now you need to apply this trick. Cross-multiply both of them. This will give us 16 multiplied by x is equal to 32 multiplied by 1. Now divide both sides by 16. Then the answer will be equal to 2. So x will be equal to 2 moles. You can apply this trick and solve any type of question. You just need to cross-multiply both sides and you will get the number of moles. Let me show you one more example to make this trick completely clear. Suppose we need to find how many moles are present in 24 grams of carbon. First, write what we know. 1 mole of carbon is equal to 12 grams. Now, let what we need to find equal to x. So we will write x mole of carbon is equal to 24 grams. Now cross-multiply. 12 multiplied by x is equal to 24 multiplied by 1. Divide both sides by 12. X is equal to 2. So 2 moles are present in 24 grams of carbon. Similarly, you can solve any question using this simple trick. The trick is very easy. Just cross-multiply and you will get your answer. Now let's conclude our today's lecture. Always remember, mole concept is very simple if you understand the basic definition. When we express the mass of any substance in grams, it becomes 1 mole. 1 mole always contains 6.02 into 10 power 23 particles. There are 4 types of moles, which are gram atom, gram molecule, gram formula, and gram ion, and you can calculate the number of moles using the cross-multiplication trick. Practice this concept with more examples, and you will master mole concept completely.